Hey everybody, welcome back. So today we're going to discuss our top reasons why we absolutely love using Airbnb for long-term travel. As avid travelers, we have found Airbnb to be a game changer when it comes to finding affordable and comfortable accommodations for extended stays. From the convenience of having a home away from home to the flexibility it offers in terms of location and amenities, Airbnb has become our go-to choice for long-term stays. So join us as we dive into the many reasons why Airbnb has become our preferred option for extended travel adventures. In this video, we're going to discuss how Airbnb allows us to travel like a local, save money on accommodation costs, have access to unique and personalized experiences, enjoy a sense of community and safety, and a lot more. So whether you're a digital nomad, a long-term traveler, a retiree, or simply looking to explore new destinations for an extended period of time, Airbnb offers a range of benefits that make it an excellent choice for your next adventure. So sit back, relax, and let's walk you through the reasons why we believe Airbnb is the perfect accommodation solution for long-term travel. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more travel tips and insights. If this is your first video watching Julie and I, we're not the new kids on the block. We've been doing this for well over 4 years. And when we started our channel, there was nobody out there letting you know how to slow travel, what the cost would be. You had some tourist type travelers that would go in and share some costs for a couple of days here or a week here, but they were like these full-time travelers that, we enjoyed watching that before we retired, but there was nobody giving you the explanation of how do you travel full-time or slow travel. So we were kind of pioneers in this, and we try to share our tips of how we're doing this, and we do it with our two dogs. Because we have dogs, we need a real living accommodation like a house. That's why we go for Airbnb normally. Bye-bye. We have found that we really enjoy Airbnb.
Yes, and we want you to know right offhand, we aren't getting paid for this. We don't have an affiliate program with them. They don't even have an affiliate program any longer. So this is just us giving you our take on why we use Airbnb.
Now, with well over 100 Airbnbs that we've stayed at, and we have 93 reviews currently as of this date from Airbnbs that we've stayed at where they talk about us, and we've had really good reviews. We feel like we're pretty well versed about Airbnb. We've had good and we've had bad experiences. The good so much outweigh the bad, and we've come to become accustomed with how to deal with some of the issues we may have along the way. So just real quickly, Julie and I, we're traveling by car through Europe, and we have the ability to travel with a little bit more stuff than most people. So not every bed is going to be super, super comfortable. So we actually have a mattress topper that we travel with. So in the event we have a bed that's less than comfortable, because Julie's very delicate, we have one with us. But this being said, will every stay be perfect in Airbnb? No. Will every stay in a hotel be perfect? No. You don't know if you're going to get some screaming kid next door or a party down the hall. The chances of you having a bad stay in a hotel, I think, are probably much higher than you having a bad stay in an Airbnb. My experience on this. I used to travel a lot when I was in my business life before I ever retired. And we find Airbnbs to be pleasurable. Our eyes were open to Airbnb in Venice.
Yes, many years ago.
Yes, when we were vacationing, our first Airbnb stay, we stayed in the canal area where we lived in a real home, just like a Venetian would. And, we got to see the unusual type of bathtub they had. And we felt like we were in a sitcom in some points of this, but it was so unusual to be able to live like a local and see things through different eyes than through the front doors and the windows of a hotel.
Absolutely. We loved it. And it's an experience that you just can't get out of a hotel.
Now, we travel full time with our dogs, as I mentioned, and as most of you will know if you're subscribers, but we have a lot of needs for our Airbnbs, and on average, we spend about $1,200 a month or less on an Airbnb. But we need parking typically, we need dogs to be welcomed, we need Wi-Fi, we need laundry, washing machine, and you never see a dryer in Europe, so don't even put that into your search criteria. Get used to hanging your clothes.
And a kitchen, a well-equipped kitchen.
Well, yes, a kitchen is very important. We are not on vacation. We are living a lifestyle. And if we were going out to eat every meal, it's going to be multitudes times higher in your typical costs. However, we also go to a lot of places where locals go to eat, so we are not like having an extremely high budget when we go out to eat at restaurants. I mean, we very rarely ever hit what we could afford. Our expenses living this lifestyle is less than $3,000 a month on average as we travel full time. And Airbnb has been an instrumental part of us making things happen. So one of the things we really like about Airbnb, you can negotiate sometimes your pricing. First off, you get a discount quite often if you're doing a long stay like a month, and we plan our travel out way in advance. Are we scheduled now up through the end of?
We're scheduled all the way through 2024.
And so if you're staying somewhere for a month, oftentimes you'll see 30, 40, 50% off on prices. And we schedule way out because we have so much criteria, because all you need is one weekend booked by somebody that's going to go and have a vacation somewhere, and you lose that place for a whole month, you don't get that month discount. So we plan ahead because we have a lot of things we want. So we encourage you to plan your Airbnb way out, and oftentimes you can negotiate some things. If you have a good reputation, Jillian and I have a great reputation, our dogs have a great reputation, there's nothing negative in any of the 93 comments that we have in our system. And out of those 93 comments, many of them speak highly about our pets as well. So when we can't find a place that fits our criteria, typically if we take pets out, a lot of things open up. If we contact a host and let them know, hey, we've got our two great dogs, they've been in well over 100 hotels and Airbnbs without incident, and we've got the ability to back that up with all of these reviews, oftentimes we get allowed to come into a typical non-dog friendly location. I'm going to say 75% of the time we'll get the thumbs up to give it a try.
Absolutely. It's so different than a hotel, and a hotel doesn't rate you. So for us, this rating is extremely important.
Mm-hmm. And you rate them as well.
Yes.
And look in the fine print when you're looking at ratings as well. If the only thing they ever mention in the rating is about the host or about the location, the facilities or the accommodations might not be the best.
Correct. We have a lot of tips on this alone, but just a small one here would be, of course, as he said, look for the fine print, but also really zoom into those photos. Mm-hmm. Really try to see the exterior of a building if at all possible.
Yeah. We're not trying to tell you Airbnb is perfect across the board, but I will tell you when we've had our bad stays, we had two that come to mind. We had one in Bétier that we walked into that was just dirty, and supposedly it was cleaned, and we turned around, we got on the phone with Airbnb, I took some snapshot photos, sent them to them, we were refunded, they helped us to find a local place, we were in a new place within about 3-4 hours, and we had no issues from Airbnb customer support. Another time we were in North Macedonia, drove through a blizzard to get to this place, got in the house, and it was not good. And we connected with the host because of the lack of cleanliness and the way that this place was presented. We got with Airbnb, they made us whole financially. In this particular situation, we went to a different hotel. We went looking around and found a place for a hotel for a couple nights. Initially, we were going to stay for a full month in that area, and we decided to leave at that point because the weather was terrible anyway, and we went to Montenegro. But that being said, anytime we've had an issue, Airbnb has supported us and made us whole financially or helped us get another accommodation.
Yes, and without hesitation. And he said we spoke to them on the phone. We actually chatted with them. So if you don't have an ability to make a phone call, the chat works just great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so great customer support from Airbnb. Now, when we speak about Airbnb, there are other things out there you might be looking at. You might look at a Facebook group to find a place to stay. Um, you don't have any kind of guarantees on things like that. There is a place, a new company that is not as big as Airbnb is and offerings that we're going to interview and speak to representatives of that company soon. So I hope you'll subscribe and look for this video. But they're going to offer, or they do currently offer, long-term stays up to a year, focusing on digital nomads and people that want to stay from a month to 12 months in a location. And we're going to talk to them and see whether or not that's a viable option outside of Airbnb. But for right now, Airbnb is our go-to. Doesn't mean that we won't occasionally be in a booking.com location or in a hotels.com location, but 90% plus of the time, we're in an Airbnb. In Airbnb, you have great locations because they are huge. There's tens and tens of thousands of Airbnbs in the system throughout the world. And really almost anywhere you want to go, you're going to find an Airbnb available. And the ability to live in your own home type environment, making your own food and living in an apartment is so much more preferable for us, at least, than being in a hotel.
Yes, it is.
You have the maid knocking on the door. Who knows if a fire alarm is going to go off down the hall?
People talk about construction. I'm telling you, a hotel, I can't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It is constant in and out. I much prefer to be in an apartment or my own house. We have gotten so lucky and even had our own houses before.
Yeah, I mean, so you'll get people complain about, an Airbnb had a bad experience because of this or that. Just like in your own home, do you ever have a bad experience wherever you're living? Maybe the power goes out, maybe the water gets disconnected for the city. There's things that happen that are beyond the host's control. So you have to let that stuff go sometimes. I mean, if you have construction popped up, you didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, you book your place 6 months in advance and you find out, okay, next door they're doing construction from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That stuff happens. You can't penalize the host for that, but just realize things happen in your own neighborhood too. So overall, we are happy with the way we live our lifestyle traveling. We are happy with the accommodations most of the time that we have with Airbnb, but we do a lot of research and we do a lot of really looking in closely. It doesn't mean that every place you stay is going to be perfect, but when it hasn't been, we haven't been left holding the bag.
Right. And that is what I really want to point out is so many people say, oh my goodness, customer service is terrible. We haven't experienced it. They have been amazing for us.
Yeah. So if you're planning to slow travel, if you're planning to travel the world, we encourage you to look at Airbnbs. If you're trying to live this lifestyle in a hotel, I don't know if it's going to be as gratifying or if you're going to feel as though you're actually part of the culture. And it's going to probably cost you quite a bit more, and you're probably going to have a lot smaller living accommodation.
I can't imagine what it would cost for a month in a lot of parts of Western Europe in a hotel. We sometimes can get really great discounts for monthly and weekly stays. Mostly we'll do monthly, especially for Western Europe.
And hotels are good for vacations. You want to go to the amusement park with the family. You're going to, be there for a week or something. But if you want to live a while, hotels normally aren't stacked up or made to have long-term accommodations. Sometimes you have places with kitchenettes, and sometimes you get these suites that will give you the one bedroom, but they're typically going to be much more costly than going through an Airbnb. If you are looking at Airbnbs in the States, I understand they're crazy expensive. Compared to what we see in Europe, Europe is much more cost friendly. So if you're trying to compare costs to your U.S. Counterparts, yeah, it's very, very different. We've looked at what an Airbnb would cost in the States. It's stupid pricey.
Yes.
It wasn't meant to be that way. I think in Europe you find it more the way it was meant to be. There's some that are going to charge you an arm and a leg, but if you're looking for a deal, you can find them.
And let's talk inflation. So many people talk about, oh my goodness, Airbnb is now charging 40% more. Warren and I have kind of found our way around this. One of the things we do, we'll visit areas that would be touristed in the summer. We visit them in the winter, especially since I don't like summer heat. I like to escape it.
I love summer.
So, for example, we're sitting in Sicily in February, and in Sicily in July, August, when most people visit, it's scorching hot and super expensive. Right now, we're in a great accommodation. We're getting a great deal per night. You couldn't get that in the summer. So think outside the box a little bit and visit places that, you might be in the summer heat, enjoying the beach.
Yeah, so let's expound on this. So in America, you have what's called snowbirds sometimes going down to Florida to get away from the winter. We're snowbirds in Europe, okay? So we have done southern Spain, southern Portugal, southern Italy, Turkey and Antalya. We're talking about maybe we'll do Greece next year, but we are looking for the warmer parts of Europe as we are traveling through this continent in the winter months. When we are in the summer months, I get half the summer until July to be somewhere nice and warm. And right now we go towards Montenegro typically. But when we get into the summer months, last year, for example, we were up in the Gdańsk area of Poland on the Baltic. And I got to have some really nice beach days, but we also had a lot of temperatures for Americans in the mid to lower 70s, but we still had sunny days. The water was good for swimming in. The beaches were nice and soft sand. And I was able to be out all day because the UVs are weaker up there. I don't turn into a tomato from being in the sun for an hour. I could be out there for 5 hours, 6 hours, and just get to a brown tan without having to get in that burn.
And I'm actually willing to get outside the house.
and so this year we're going to do Scandinavia, but we're going to park ourselves for a month in Kiel, Germany, up on the Baltic, and then when we're done with that month, we're going to move over to the UK to Hemsby Beach near Norwich, which also has a beach. I expect to get some decent beach days there in the low to mid 70s, while Julie will still have her comfort zone to be comfortable without having the same types of, the 100+ degree temperature days for Europeans in the 40s down in Turkey and Sicily and southern Spain and southern Portugal. So, we play with the weather as we travel, and by doing this, we're a lot of times not where the hordes are going, so we get the more economical pricing still available.
Mm-hmm. We sure do.
So a quick synopsis on why we're selecting Airbnb. We get to immerse ourselves in the local culture and live like locals. We don't have a commitment to a long-term lease, and Airbnb is offering flexibility for both short and long-term stays. We get to save money when we get to cook our own meals in a fully equipped kitchen. We get to experience a variety of different types of accommodations, letting us feel like what it's like to live in other places, whether that's going to be a house or an apartment or some sort of historic building. We get to enjoy the comforts of home with amenities like Wi-Fi, laundry, and even pet-friendly options, and for us, parking. We get to skip the hotel crowds and enjoy a more personalized experience And oftentimes the Airbnb hosts are eager to share with us their local knowledge. So we just figure, why settle for a traditional hotel experience when you can have the comforts of home with an Airbnb? So we hope that this explains why we're using Airbnb as we travel. We want to thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and we look forward to you joining us next time. So until then, have a great day, everybody.